got it. My meeting's being broadcast.
All right. Here we go. Hi, guys. Welcome. It is Sunday, November the 6th, 2022. Y'all, welcome to the Zodiac chat line. It has been, oh my gosh, Cassie girl. I'm your host, Tanae. And of course, as always, I have Cassie with me. Girl,
I
Ooh,
am glad I kept those Scorpio intentions low key because I am tired.
girl, you
tired.
motherfucking tag.
It's an exhausting time, y'all.
I just first, before we get started, I just want to send my condolences to Takeoff and his family, and as well as Aaron Carter and his family. Both of those gentlemen tragically lost their lives this past week, and they're very young, and it's just sad and senseless. So, shout out to them. This eclipse season, ma'am, it's got us in a chokehold.
It sure does. It sure does.
And I know Taurus rules the neck, but damn.
Yeah, y'all. And so, yes, we've got our full moon lunar total eclipse coming up this Tuesday, election day. Tanae, tell us the fun fact about this you learned.
Oh, as Cassie just stated, that our election here in the U.S. Will be this Tuesday on the 8th, is the same day in the eclipse. And that has never happened in U.S. history, ever. So as everybody who has paid attention to anything in the past 4 to 8 years, as far as democracy, elections, our former president, January 6th, all of the things that we are noticing that this midterm election is bringing to a head. It is a very, very intense time here in the States. Multiple text, phone calls, all of these things to remind me to vote. I have already voted. Cassie has already voted because that's just what we do. I live in a state where we have a very highly contested governor race. It is a rematch of what I feel like was a sham of election the first time, but hey, personal opinions. Anyways, go Stacey. We love you, girl. But for this to be on the eclipse in the first time in the United States history, and we also talked about how this was Pluto, the United States Pluto return as well. This is going to be an interesting ride. And I think Cass and I both think that we may not have all the election results on election night.
Oh, no, definitely. I would be, no, there's too many close races. I also live in a state with, fortunately, Big Gretch seems to be solidly pulling ahead of zombie conservative MILF lady that she's running against. But it's still, we have essentially our own Roe v. Wade or Roe protection amendment on our ballot in Michigan this year. And it's spicy out here, you guys. And I went back and looked at my new moon in Taurus intentions when I was setting my new moon in Scorpio intentions, since all these eclipses are on the Taurus Scorpio axis. And I was reminded that it was at the new moon in Taurus this year that we discovered the Dobbs decision was going to happen and that Roe v. Wade was going to be repealed. That was when that decision was leaked. And so all of that energy is coming to a head on election night. And the election also happens, in addition to it being the full moon lunar eclipse, there's also a T-square in the sky. So of course the moon is opposed to the sun when it's full. So we know that the moon's going to be in Taurus. The sun is in Scorpio. The sun is joined by Venus and Mercury in Scorpio. So now we've got the moon opposing 3 planets, and then all of that energy is squared by Saturn in Aquarius, the rule maker, the big daddy energy of the zodiac in Aquarius.
The
Your
most
shit's just gonna get
unpredictable placement possible.
Yep.
And it's no longer retrograde. So Saturn is going direct. And we also have Mars retrograde in Gemini, which slows things down as far as action. So as Cassie said, what does Nigel say in Devil Wears Prada? Gorge your loins, ladies and gentlemen, because it is going to be interesting. And I would encourage everyone to really stay in tune with themselves and check with their emotions. You can tell that emotions are heightened. Nancy Pelosi's husband was attacked in their home a couple days ago. And it's just like, it is getting beyond ridiculous. I mean, I think we all know that January 6th is like, did this really happen? And a lot of politicians are now trying to claim like, democracy, but, I don't know if we even know what that looks like anymore. I feel like it has transformed with all of the transits this year. And as Cassie said, with the Dobbs decision happening right at the Taurus eclipse, I would not be surprised to see something else spicy happen right around this eclipse.
I'll be shocked. I'm sad to say this, but I will be shocked if we get through this election without some kind of violence happening somewhere.
And if you have not voted and you're going to vote on Tuesday, just be careful,
be safe,
and just be aware, and not saying that. And we honestly, it's a little ridiculous that we're even saying be safe, because it should be a protected right. And you shouldn't have to be worried about going to do a civil right that you have earned as an American citizen. But the reality is, as we saw on January 6th, anything can happen. Mm-hmm. Anything is possible. They still have that orange tree Cheeto trying to run for president in a couple years. Again, anything is possible. Anything can happen. And so just meditate, find some water, find some earth, find some grounding, balance that axis out. And just be very careful. I think it's both Taurus and Scorpio are fixed signs. And so they are known for calculated risks in different ways. Taurus is very calculated when it comes to material. Scorpio is very calculated when it comes to emotional and anything like that. And also with all of that energy opposing, Scorpio is about secrets and transformation and stuff, so.
Yeah. Building off of that, as far as staying grounded and I would encourage you to stay close to home. To also, I think a helpful activity for a Taurus full moon eclipse election day is to take a nice walk in your neighborhood and remember that these are real people, right? Like there are real other people that live in your community, and everything is not the way we think it is because of the internet,
Thank you.
And it's helpful to just get out there and remember that, like, hey, you are a human being connected to the place where you live and connected to these people, and government is part of what connects us. And both of the major political parties in our country have toxic brands. Some of them have deserved the reputation that they've gotten, and some probably don't, but like also do. It's not as though neither of these parties is without culpability. And what we need to sustain being a nation is more parties. But unfortunately, just like capitalism, the only way to defeat having two toxic parties in power is to get out and vote. And vote for independence, and vote for Green Party candidates, and vote for Working Man's Party candidates, and vote for libertarians, or whoever you want to. Try and build up these smaller parties. Get out, get ranked choice voting if you can. If you live in a state where you can do ballot initiatives or whatever, like in your own communities. But I guess my thing is, in order to make the process better, we have to participate in the process. And I know a lot of times we are just choosing between the lesser of two evils, but when one of those evils literally wants to turn it into the Handmaid's Tale, it's kind of a big fucking deal that we go out and participate.
I mean, it's either make some sort of voice be heard, or just stay quiet and allow somebody else to tell you how to live. And as Cassie said, your communities matter, you know, and a lot of these elections are very local elections that will affect you a lot more directly than, say, maybe a national presidential election. A lot of these are Senate races, they're Congress races, they're governorships, they are Secretary of States. They are very locally contested elections. And it is important that you try to participate. And to all the Gen Zers who are now able, thank you, because we know y'all gonna come through with the come through.
That's right.
Your
They're not
generation
fucking around.
grew up with the internet and a lot more information, and you are ready to make shit happen. So with that, we're going to talk about just the thinly veiled, and we're going to go over what some plans are, and then we're going to bring our lovely guest on. So just to recap, the sun, Mercury, and Venus are all in Scorpio currently. Mars is retrograde in Gemini. Jupiter and Neptune are both retrograde in Pisces. Saturn, well, he's just hanging out in Aquarius, which was his original ruler. And Uranus is still retrograde in Taurus, with the North Node hanging out right there. And
God, I forgot that Uranus was retrograde in Taurus too, just adding another element of just
which
strangeness.
is Aquarius's modern rule. So and then Pluto is, of course, in Capricorn. So I would say by next year, our democracy will look very different. I think that a lot of changes are going to happen. I think there's going to be a lot more grassroots. I think there's going to be a lot more political debates and like a lot more disagreements, because it's been one way for so long, you know? And then, you know, we are in Scorpio season and the veil is super thin. We're super close to our ancestors. Cass and I love our ancestors. We love connecting with them. My favorite ancestor movie, yes, it's a Disney movie, Coco. If you haven't seen it,
good.
It is the perfect way to explain, sorry guys, Dia de los Muertos, and how keeping your ancestors energy and spirit alive through photos and talking to them and communicating them with them. I think Cass and I both have altars which honor our ancestors, and I think it's important because because that's also the axis that we're on, is, you know, the ancestral axis with the North Node of like what is happening right now. And I just want y'all to remember everything, you know, your spiritual transformation, your material transformation. That's what these nodes, and they're in fixed signs, and fixed signs would rather be dragged than change. So
yeah,
all my fixed signs out there, whoop whoop, it's okay, we're gonna have to go with it.
Right. It's very interesting. And yes, like across, like Dia de los Muertos in the Mexican culture is probably the most famous example in modern times of a holiday at this time of year, celebrating the dead and ancestors. But Samhain and Halloween, you know, certainly evolved out of that tradition, and across cultures and across times, this late October, early November time of the year has universally been known to be the time when we're the closest to that spirit world and the world of the dead and the people who have come before us. And I think it's really helpful. And like we're talking about the axes, right? Like, so we're on this North Node is in Taurus, the South Node is in Scorpio. We're on this axis. That's why our eclipses are occurring in these signs. And it really deals with your material comfort, your present day comfort. So me, Cassie, in 2022, my comfort here at home is built off of a whole lot of things, good and bad, that happened before in my ancestral line. And I think even as a country, we are confronting that too. And we're looking at what does it mean to give up maybe some of our material comfort in order to heal some of this past trauma, or what does it look like when we try to stay in all of this? And I honestly, I don't know, guys. We'll find out when we talk to you in 2 weeks what happened.
Yeah, because, you know, just remember what happened back during Taurus season. And so for the next week or so, you know, I mean, the fortunate thing I think is that this is like what's happening this week, so we don't have a lot of extra other things going on. But like Cassie said, you know, stay grounded, stay close to home, and stay close to your ancestors. Really, like really, you know, we talk about healing generational trauma all the time, and if now more than ever is the time to heal all of that and be honest with ourselves and honest with what we're carrying and what our, you know, forefathers, if we shall say that, you know, kind of brought with this country. And I think we all understand that we have evolved. It just seems like our laws and our has not evolved with us, and we are far beyond being in Handmaid's Tale. But super excited to bring this lovely Taurus queen on. She's a Taurus sun. She is a Capricorn moon and an Aquarius rising. We have Ayanda joining us, and we are so excited to have her here. She found us on TikTok, y'all.
We're
Hey,
popular
girl.
with the youths.
What is happening? How are you?
I'm good. How you ladies doing?
So good. Thank you.
Living our best life. We are so excited. Like, I don't think you know, we are so excited to have you on our show.
Yeah, we love talking to people that we have no personal like history with, because then it's all like, you know, all the chart, man. So it's really fun to find out the ways that things, the way that information connects with people. I think is always awesome. So so what do you know about what do you know about being a Taurus? Do you relate to Taurus qualities?
The most thing I relate to Taurus qualities is the bullheadedness. Like when I was a child, you could not tell me nothing. I was going to do how I wanted to do it. Like even like in school, they'd be like, "Oh, you have so much," and I'm just like, I understand, but I'm gonna do it my way. It's my way or the highway. Like, and I ended up butting heads with some people in my family, but you know, we worked through that. So
That's gross.
just my groundedness in being a Taurus. Like I know I'm not like Taurus is quote unquote like not one of like the hardest one of the earth signs. I believe that's Capricorn, but me as a Taurus, like whenever I meet another Taurus, it's almost like, yeah, you another Taurus. Like we're both very, yeah, this is who we are. There's no changing us. You're either with it or you're getting lost. Like those are the two options.
I mean, Cass and I both have experienced, I had a Taurus mom. Cassie has a Taurus rising, has plenty of Taurus friends. So we understand. And let's just kind of continue with that whole theme. You have a lot of fixed energy in your chart. And so
not just from the Taurus placements either.
You literally have placements in every single fixed sign. And that's Aquarius, Leo, Scorpio, and Taurus. So how do you learn to let go and change? Like, how do you adapt with your stubbornness?
When I was younger, it was unrelenting. You weren't, unless I wanted to change my mind, you're not changing my mind. And that also became like a point of contention with some of my sisters. It was like, you're listening, but do you ever make compromise? I'm like, why am I compromising? I don't even agree with you. What do you mean compromise? What's the point in compromise? Because then I'm compromising my morals and what I believe in. You're not going to do that. That's what we're not going to do. Now it's taking a very hard look at why I'm so steadfast in this opinion or steadfast in what I believe, and then playing the devil's advocate of the other person, being like, are they right? Is it okay for them to be right? Because for a hot minute, I'm like, even if you are right, it don't sit right in my soul. It just don't sit right. I don't even care that you're right. You can keep the right, but I'm gonna be over here wrong. Okay, I'm okay with that. I am okay with that in my heart, and that was bad for a minute. You know, man, it's okay to admit that you're wrong, and that was bad. But that's the something me and my boyfriend like go with on a not like a day-to-day basis, but every now and again. And he's just like, yeah, whenever you want something, you want it. There's no deviating. I'm like, yeah, yeah, you're right. And I love that you know that about me, baby. Thank you.
Oh, that is funny. Yeah, you have a fair amount of cardinal energy in your chart too, in addition to fixed sign energy, which is good because fixed sign people can sometimes get stuck in a rut and they need some cardinal sign energy to start new things. But where you don't have a lot of energy is in mutable placements. And that is what you need to adapt, right? Like cardinal signs aren't very good at adapting either. I have a shit ton of cardinal energy in my chart, most of it Cancer, but some other ones too. And it's just, we're also very much, it's our way. We just don't stick with anything. So eventually it's like, I will let go of stuff just because I've gotten over it and move on to something else that I have to control. But that what you described with playing devil's advocate with yourself is actually really, I think, a great way of channeling mutable energy, because that's very much what they do. If you've ever talked to a Virgo or a Gemini for any long period of time, like eventually in conversation, they are going to play the devil's advocate just because it's fun to them. And that's good because we need those people to question why we do things the way we do, you know?
That's crazy that you say that, because so I've just come to this recent realization that all my sisters are like, I have a Cancer sister, I'm the Taurus, my sister is a Gemini, and then my last sister is an Aries. And I came to that realization like a few months ago, and I was like, that's crazy. Wow. And then you
praying
say
for your
that, like,
parents though. 'Cause, damn, that is a lot of
girls, all girls.
That's a lot of intense energy and personalities that aren't really meant to mesh.
Oh no.
Except for maybe the Taurus and the Cancer, if the Taurus isn't being mean.
That's crazy that you say that, because my best sister, like the best one of that me, is the Gemini, so the mutable energy.
Oh, funny.
Me and our thickest thieves. Like me and my Cancer older sister, we were like, yeah, so how are you doing? That's nice.
You too mean for her.
That's what I come to the realization also. Maybe I put things a little too blatant.
Yeah, you gotta rock-a-bye baby those Cancers. I love you.
It's true. No, it's fine. It's only through channeling my Taurus rising that I've grown any kind of backbone in my life. No, I love the Cancers too, but we're crabs. We're squishy on the inside. We're full of soft, delicious, buttery meat. What I was also thinking about though, with that's the first 4 signs of the zodiac. So Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer. And when one of the ways that Tanae and I certainly like to think about the zodiac is as a map of like the human life. So sign 1, Aries, is like the baby, and then you get to Pisces, which is the grandma of the zodiac or whatever, like that spirit grandma in Moana that turns into the stingray. But the first 4 signs are all really self-centered, and not in a selfish way necessarily, though any of them could be, but they're very self-interested and look at the lens, or look at the world through the lens of their own thoughts, feelings, dreams, hopes, goals, etc. It's not till you get into the Leo, Virgo, Libra signs that usually the folks have a fundamental like their
other people exist.
Well, it's they build their identity off their relationships with other people, and they see the world through the lens of their matrix of their relationships. So it's just interesting to think about having 4. I have 2 kids, 4 is already, that's a crazy number of just people to keep track of in your house, but to also think that they're all, because kids tend to be so self-centered anyway. The first 4 signs of the zodiac, that's not, it's actually great that there's that many of you, because you realize early in life, you're like, well, shoot, I just can't be the center of attention all the time. There's
Oh my goodness.
4 other
That is like
people
a
in here.
lesson, like a quick lesson in socialization and learning how to like navigate conflict with other people.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we
Um,
didn't do much navigating at the beginning, but you know, later, yeah.
So as we had stated earlier, you have all of this lovely energy and you have a lot of energy on the nodes. And I would like to ask you, how was your birthday? It's going to be like a multi-part question, but like my guess is that this has been quite the transformative year for you, probably the most that you've had ever in your life, and a lot of twists and turns and things that you were not ready or expecting, but you just had to go with the flow. And I think now you're like, okay, I mean, I didn't want to, but I guess it's fine now. So how much transformation have you had this year?
Um, there's just been a multitude of things, like in general. The past 2 to 3 years has just been a lot in general. Even before COVID, like before all of that, like it was a really hard transition regardless. As far as like this year, it's crazy that you say that I've had to have a lot of like things that I've just had to go with the flow with, because earlier in the year, I my friend, she was getting into like tarot card readings, and she was like, yeah, this year you're gonna need a lot of strength. You're gonna need it. You're gonna need it. It's gonna be a lot, but you're gonna need the strength. But once you have it, you can get through all the obstacles that you're gonna get through this year. I'm like, what is she talking about? I feel like this year has been pretty okay. Like, hasn't been that bad, hasn't been that great, but you know, it's okay. My birthday, it was interesting because the friends that I thought were my friends, you know how, you know what they say, if you really want to figure out who your friends are, try and throw a birthday party. And nobody showed up to the birthday party. That was me for my birthday. Like, I
Boo to all her ex-friends. Glad you got rid of them hoes. Anyway, oh my God. So wait, nobody showed up to your birthday party?
like I literally planned out like this whole weekend full of stuff. Obviously, I'm like, okay, not everybody everything. And the place that I worked at, one of the people, I was working as a senior living assistant, so actually, you know, being the like nursing home and, you know, helping these people, but it was more like a, you know, nursing community. It wasn't really like everybody is just down bad. Not to say that, you know, all old people are down bad, but we're not gonna get into that. It's fine. Okay, so one of the people I was working with, she owns like her own marijuana company, and she basically does like these high tours throughout Ann Arbor. So she had a deal with all the like dispensaries we were gonna go to, you know, get maybe a free pre-roll here, you know, half off of the ounce here, this, that, and the third. And if you know me and my friends, some weed smokers, okay? So I'm like, this is perfect. This is perfect. You know, before we gonna get a little brunch going on, then we gonna go to the tour, and then maybe later hit up a movie. Anyway, I planned a whole weekend full of stuff, right? I sent it out to literally a group chat of people. Either nobody responded, the one person that did respond, something happened with the brunch where I basically had to reschedule it, and it was too late for her to come to for her not too late, but she had to work at a certain time, so she couldn't go. And I ended up having brunch with my mom, my older sister, and another friend of mine, but she hates breakfast foods. And the place that I went to, it was all like my birthday, May 7th, is right around Mother's Day. So them Mother's Day brunches.
Shit.
Girl, them Mother's Day brunches gonna get on your ass.
Yeah.
It was charging $50, right? It came with a small plate, a large plate, and a dessert, right? The small plate, it was like my mom, she ordered a strawberry salad. The plate was like this big, only a quarter of a strawberry in a salad. One of my friends, she did, obviously she don't like breakfast foods. So she like, okay, I'll try the shrimp and grits. The grits was lumpy with the cheese. Then finally we come to a dessert. It take them 45 minutes just to put the pie on the plate and give it to our asses. And I'm like, I'm paying $50 for this. And the gratuity automatically calculated in. I can't even not give your ass a tip to show you how dissatisfied I am with this service. So
How are you gonna play with a Taurus's food on
Food?
their birthday?
Oh my God.
That is like
you don't do.
Dare.
the worst of the worst thing. It's either their food or their sleep, but the
Man.
food,
Oh
cannot.
my God. You know, you
Man.
get you up a nap, I may be able to forgive you. But you serve me a shitty plate of grits, you ain't never coming back. You ain't never coming back. But I tell you, I wrote
let there be a PSA warning for all y'all.
Bro, I have never written a Yelp review in my life until that day. And when I tell you that Yelp review was scathing.
Yes, I love that word. Scathing, she
Scathing.
said.
Oh man.
Well, I'm sorry that happened on your birthday.
Storytelling is what is driving my laughter,
It
not
is.
the experience, because that sucks. That does suck. And you know, to Tanae's point though, because you are a Taurus and we're having these eclipses on the Taurus Scorpio season, it's a lot of I don't want to say unnecessary truths revealed, because I think there are necessary revelations, or in some cases condemnations, right? But like it's a lot. It's intense and it's harsh, and you're like, oh well,
Yeah.
you need to be like all this. But the good news is, like, we're going through a season where maybe some of that will get healed or revisited in some way. And then certainly by the time we roll into next year, we'll have wrapped up this Taurus Scorpio like couple of years. Because the first eclipse that happened on this axis happened in November of last year. And then we had 2 this year in Taurus season. We're having 2 in Scorpio season this year, and we'll have 1 more, I think, next year in Taurus season. So you'll come out of this cycle feeling better and clearer, and probably getting rid of some stuff that maybe you didn't even know was weighing you down. You know what I mean?
And it's hard. It's hard for Tauruses to let go, especially when it comes to people that are close to them and their friends. And I know your feelings were hurt. And I mean, like, your friends probably don't even know how, or ex-friends, that's what we call them, because they ain't your friends no more.
Here no more. That's crazy.
Your ex-friends probably don't know how bad they wounded you and how bad your feelings were actually hurt. With your Capricorn moon, ain't nobody gonna know, really, right?
True.
No,
but
you just won't see me again.
Listen, like a ghost, I'll be gone, girl. I'm here for it. But I will say that be very patient with yourself. And you know what? On this full moon, pamper the fuck out of yourself.
Because I was really wondering how I'm supposed to be moving.
Yeah, pamper yourself and make your boyfriend pamper you. Get your feet rubbed, get your back rubbed, whatever. Get a 5-course meal, whatever. You can get a little, what I'm saying.
Left, and I told him I'm gonna tell him, like, I'm gonna call him later and tell him how this all went. And I'm gonna tell him you said that. I was like,
what? Okay. Random curiousness.
Chicken wings and rub my feet.
Random. Listen, lemon pepper hot. What is your boyfriend's sign? I'm just nosy.
He's a Sagittarius.
Okay.
Cute.
Honestly, Adele and her boyfriend Rich Paul. That's a Taurus Sagittarius.
Wait,
so
what'd you say?
Adele and Rich Paul.
I love Adele.
Of course you do, right? I would say that it would be very nice if you would compromise more with him, because he's always going to kind of defer to you because he just is like, whatever. But I think it would be fair to compromise a little bit, okay? Just a little bit. Just make him know you care a little bit, okay? Okay. Don't laugh. I'm just speaking from my heart.
I'll tell him that.
I just speak from my heart.
And as somebody who is married to a Sagittarius person, I can say that they are the ultimate devil's advocates. And it's usually out of a place of they think it's hilarious. They just think it's funny to fuck with you. And like you, unlike me, are not full of water placements. It was really hard for my sensitive ass to deal with that at first. You have a lot more strength of character going into a relationship with a Sagittarius to be able to deal with that. But I have learned it's their love. Sarcasm is their love language.
Oh,
So
see, I wasn't crying, but early on in our relationship, I was like, yeah, we got to sit down and have a talk.
You was ready to fight.
'Cause what's going on?
You was ready to fight.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
if you know me, you lucky I'm sitting down and talking and not just go sit down. But we're not gonna talk about that, baby. Just come to me.
Let's talk about that a little bit.
About
though.
relationships.
No, I was going to talk about
Oh.
anger a little
Oh,
bit.
go for that, and then we'll go back to the relationship question.
Because you have some, we talked a little bit about this with Ayanda on the pre-call, but you have some placements that are really interesting to me in terms, because they're like cusps, right? They're so close. Like your moon is one that's like 29 degrees Capricorn. So very close to being an Aquarius. You have Mars. So the planet that really governs passion and anger for us, kind of sitting by itself in your chart in Libra, but it's in retrograde. And I went back and looked at what was going on with Mars the year you were born, because I was like, did it retrograde into Libra from Scorpio? Or was it already in Libra and it was just retrograding further into it? And it's the first part. And basically it is also very close to the Libra Scorpio cusp. So Mars in Scorpio is way different than Mars in Libra, right? Like Mars in Scorpio is, I am holding on to shit forever. You hurt me and I will never forget it. I won't forgive you. I will get revenge, even if it takes me 100 years. And Mars in Libra is like, what can I do to please you? Like, how can I dissipate this tension so that nobody ever has to deal with this conflict? And some of your other places, I'm just curious, how do you handle anger? I know you're stubborn. You got a lot of fixed energy. You also have some Aries energy in prominent placements, that like Mercury in Aries, if I'm not mistaken,
Yep.
which leads me to believe that things can get spicy. So I'm just curious, how does that work for you? How does it manifest? And how are you able to work through any like angry feelings?
It's interesting that you said Mars in Scorpio is completely different than Mars in Libra, because and that I am on such a hard cusp, because like when I was younger, my mom literally like has told me the story of like, I would get so angry that I would leave, sit myself down in a corner and not talk to anyone. And then when I was ready, I'd come back to that situation or come back to whatever we was doing. And then, having like, not even really hashing it out. Right. And it's crazy that you say, it's also interesting that you said that Mars and Libra is like, okay, how do I please you? And how do I like placate the situation? Because when I was younger, there was a lot of that, like of not really acknowledging my feelings in a situation and just being like, I don't even want to feel angry towards this anymore. Like whatever I have to do, I'm going to let this go, because at the end of the day, me being angry, eventually it weighed on me a lot, because I definitely was angry, like, why do I have to share my books with my sister, bro? Like, she got her own books and I just bought this drawing from the book fair. Like, why do I got to share my new shit? She gonna get jelly in the pages. And my mom's like, just let her share it. Just let her have it. Then I get it back. What is in the pages? Jelly. I held on to that for a minute. I'm not gonna cap. I'm like, and this is why I don't trust y'all people, because why I gotta share my shit? But to say your original question, like, how do I deal with anger? As far as now, I started to realize that like my anger most of the time is misplaced, and it's not really like this particular situation has angered me to this point. It's more so like this situation took me back to another situation that I didn't feel comfortable with, and I let just dissipate and let it go, and just to try to alleviate that weight on my soul. And now I'm like, I can't stand for this. So we're gonna have to either figure out what's going on, or you're gonna have to get the fuck out of my life. Those are two
That is some
options.
serious growth and self-awareness.
Those are the two options. Because yeah, it took a hot ass minute to get to that. A part of those transformations of this year. Okay,
Honestly, it's good that you are going through it this early in your life, because it is much more difficult the older you get to adjust and adapt to challenges, especially when it comes to things like anger or aggression or anything like that. Like that is, like anger is anger. I mean, it's a real, feeling, and it's usually because you're disappointed, upset, you're hurt. And so it comes out in anger, and anger is healthy. But for you to learn how to navigate that is a beautiful thing.
And to recognize that it's often a trigger from a past event. Like that is a realization that, oh yeah, it took me, I was older than you for sure, to realize that, like, oh, in this moment, I'm not really mad about this thing. I'm mad about some old shit, or this is a manifestation of a pattern that I have allowed to go on for too long. And I'm mad at myself for not doing something about that before. But yeah, Tanae and I we're big Gen Z stans. So we just, I forever love you young folks just figuring yourselves out at an early age. Like I just wish
and having
give that
the tools, the
to
ability.
A lot of people.
Oh, girl,
because they're glad that y'all stand the Gen Z or like the Zennials.
Oh yeah,
I call myself like a Zennial because I'm on that cusp.
Oh sure,
just a little bit, but because a lot of the times I feel like the main disconnect between the millennials and the Gen Z, or even the generation before millennials, I forget what it's called, is that like they don't truly understand that. Oh yeah, Gen X. They don't truly understand like the emotional work that has to go into being your true self,
because they were not taught, and it didn't matter what the emotional work was, because it's your parents' generation, right? That's your parents' generation. They're probably about Gen Xers. They were born within the 60s and 70s.
Yeah, my dad was 69, my mom was 71. I am the troublemaker, quote unquote.
You're just challenging them.
I stand myself as the black sheep.
You're the unicorn in your family, and you challenge them to be better.
Yeah. My mom even tells me I was the hardest pregnancy. She was like, yeah, I needed a cane with you. Because you was straight on my hips the whole time. I'm like, if anything,
I was comfortable. I was comfortable and I was chilling. So I do want to touch on your North Node before we move to your game, because your North Node is in the 7th house of Leo.
Yeah, so tell me about that. Tell me about that a little bit.
So our North Node, what we understand it to be, is where your soul is guided to go. And your South Node, you came in with Aquarius energy, which is really laid back, super chill. And it's very much humanitarian, and it looks at the world as a whole. Leo looks at the world about how it affects Leo. And having the North Node in the 7th house, your relationships are what is going to transform and challenge you the most. And you have to check your ego at the door, because that's the only placement you have in Leo. And so my question to you was, how have fears of romantic relationships challenged your growth?
Oh my gosh. Long story short, my high school boyfriend ended up convincing me to get a job in which he was having sex with a manager that eventually became my manager. I worked there for 1 summer, didn't even find out until the 2nd summer I worked there. First day on the job of the 2nd summer, basically her enemy, because yeah, she had an enemy, basically was like, yeah, so you still with so and so? And I'm like, no, fuck that nigga, fuck you talking about? And she like, well, that's good because he was doing blah, 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 blah. So after that, of course, and this was damn near the rise of like the city girls and all types of other stuff. So I was like, yeah, fuck these niggas. I'm gonna go do what the fuck I want to do. You ain't gonna hold me down with your bullshit. You either win it or you get lost. Yeah, there wasn't shit you was gonna tell me. And then after that, I started to realize, yeah, you have a real hard fear of like committing to somebody new, and they just pull the rug right off from under your ass. And for a hot minute, my friends was like, yeah, you stay fucking with these like shitty ass niggas because you know they not on your level. And you know you can just toss them aside when you want to. So why you doing that? And I was like,
Dang.
you know what? You read me for filth. I can't right now. But we're gonna come back to that later.
How did you get over your fear?
It's crazy that you say my North Node is in Leo because so I'm guessing like 2 years ago, I was first with an Aquarius drug dealer, you know, doing random shit. He was like, I see me with you for the next 10 years. I'm like, really? I don't even see you for the next few months. But okay. You do you, baby, but you're not gonna be me. Okay. After that, I got with a Leo. It was just like, you don't even make sense. You just don't even make sense. And it's crazy because around that time I had been coming into contact with a lot of Leos. Like I had a Leo best friend, but we eventually fell out. And I was just meeting Leos like left and right. And I was like, what's the universe telling me? Because all these Leos is straight about themselves. So maybe I need to be about myself. Because why am I with these people that I know I don't want to be with? And deal with them for an extended amount of time? I mean, free weed is good, but at a certain point, fuck going out.
Facts.
Fuck going out.
Okay.
Oh my
well,
goodness, that's so funny. I have a question about the North Node before we leave this topic.
Go for
because one thing that I just love. I want to know everything about your life.
Like we need
we
need a part 2.
Yeah, we do.
I will be happy to come back. Don't worry.
Yes.
I love
Don't
y'all.
threaten us with a good time. So with your North Node in Leo, and this is like where your destiny is headed, right? This is your soul's path. You came into this world with this Aquarian energy that's very humanitarian and very much not into the spotlight. Leos are all about claiming a spotlight, right? And you have a lot of energy that suggests to me that's not natural for you. Like you are probably not somebody who seeks out being the center of attention. But just know that your destiny is to be that. And part of that is probably going to be finding a partner who worships you a little bit. Like that may be that boost that you need to kind of get yourself out there. And just, you know, I'm curious, are there places in your life where you do feel comfortable being in the spotlight?
Okay. I'm gonna go slightly off topic and then I'm gonna answer your question.
Okay, I love it. A detour. Let's do this.
Yes. I'm sorry. I'm somewhat of a tangent storyteller type person, so you know this is what you got for today. Okay,
the audience is enjoying
Baby,
it.
we got
Please
nothing but
continue.
time.
Yes. This is yours. Okay. This is you are in the spotlight today. This is
yes.
It's all you.
Well, hello everybody. I hope you're enjoying the show. Come back. You know these lovely ladies is gonna get you right every time. But okay. So it's crazy that you say like a partner, will someone have to worship me in order for me to start to feel comfortable like in the spotlight and almost prop me up? Because ever since I was younger, I always thought like in my soul, I'm gonna get with somebody, we gonna be a power couple and we gonna rule you motherfuckers. You gonna get in line today with me and so. Don't play these games. Because what you're not gonna do is fuck up my money, fuck with my man, and fuck with me. Side note, top pet peeve, being made a fool of. You will never be making a motherfucking fool out of me. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, You getting cut off. There ain't no third time. Okay. Back to what your question was. Okay.
Love it.
In my creative space, I really love highlighting myself. So like, I actually, want to be a doctor and I want to be a pathologist. But in the same sentiment in my soul, like I feel like I'm just constantly pulled to like art and design and the beauty of things. Because to me, the beauty of the world is what drives everything else, And so I was at my boyfriend's basketball game literally today, and he was like, people don't really understand that basketball is all a mental game. And I was like, the only reason I really feel you is because I played 2K, and you have no idea how many times I fucked up 1 or 2 plays, and next thing you won, I'm 21. I'm out the game. I'm not coming back. And I'm like, it's crazy because the world really is a mental game. It really is. And if someone can find the beauty in something and resonate with that, that will drive them way farther than the disciplinarian, the authoritarian, or, the fear of death or unsatisfaction or the lack of success or whatever. So that's almost what my soul is like constantly drawn to, like the beauty of art. Like in Pinterest, I literally have a, how you can make like, your little pin folders or whatever. I have a thing called Inspiration to the Sky. And it's just things that I find in Pinterest. I'm just like, this artistically is just a vision. And I tell my mom, you got to follow the vision. You got to see the vision. Because if you ain't seeing the vision, what you even looking at? What's the purpose? If you have no vision for your life, if you can't see a vision, you're lost. And you will continue to be lost. So, yes. Although in the sciences, I'm like, yeah, let me just stay out to the side. I know my stuff, but, somebody else can lead, answer the questions and everything like that. But in my artistic being and who I am spiritually, I'm like, yeah, you got to see the vision. You got to get with it. Because next thing you know, you lost. And you on some other motherfucker's path. And that motherfucker's path may be shitty as hell. Yours could have been nice and smooth and paved. And you had a nice little Ferrari to take you down the path. Now you in a crate with 2 broken wheels and potholes to all hell, like in Detroit, bro. Potholes in a motherfucker. And look at you. You're stuck on the side of the road.
Mm-hmm.
What you gonna do now? There ain't no AAA in the world of the spirituality and in your life. The only AAA is you.
We got Ayanda testifying on a Sunday, y'all. She is preaching to the congregation choir. I hope y'all are listening, because we got a third host coming. I'm just playing. So, all right, girl, we got
right. We found your spotlight.
we gonna put this
providing the light.
Absolutely. We're gonna jump into this game with you, Cassie. You want to introduce the game?
Yes. So we like to play, variations of Blame It on Your Big Three, and so this is Blame It on Your Big Three. What up, now? Deeeee-trout version.
Okay.
So your big three, of course, are your Taurus sun, your Capricorn moon, and your Aquarius rising. And so we have picked Detroit landmarks representing each. Today and I have each picked one that represents one of those placements. So we're going to give you the landmark, and you have to guess if it is symbolic of your Taurus sun, your Capricorn money-making moon, or your quirky, funky Aquarius rising. So, today you want to hit the first one?
All right, we're gonna go with the Fox Theater.
Definitely the Aquarius.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I actually picked Taurus because it's so gorgeous and opulent on the inside.
I should have thought like that, because Taurus do love the opulence.
Oh yes. Beauty.
Okay.
All right. I picked Renaissance Center.
The Capricorn.
Yes.
Yep.
Money for the non-Detroit
Run me my
folks
cheese,
in the
motherfuckers.
crowd. General
Yes.
Motors headquarters there. It's like the biggest building in Detroit. So
Mhm, mhm.
All right. We have the spirit of Detroit.
Oh, okay, can I go back and redo mine, or do I have to, I can redo it?
You can pick another one. You
Yeah.
can pick whatever.
Okay, are you saying the spirit of Detroit as in like, oh, Motown Detroit, when we was in our bag, we had our industrial complex, we was making that money, making that dough, you know what I'm
The
saying? Are you talking
statue,
about
I believe, the statue that's downtown.
Oh, okay. Okay, then I'm gonna say the Aquarius, because now that you said that the other one was Taurus, this one definitely gotta be Aquarius.
It is definitely Aquarius. And fun fact, the sculptor is an Aquarius.
Ooh, the coincidences of life. The synchronicities.
also, fun fact, if you dive down the rabbit hole of celebrities from Detroit, there are a lot of famous Aquariuses from Detroit. It's very weird. All right, moving on. How about any Coney Island? Pick your favorite, whichever one you like.
Oh my gosh. Any Coney Island outside of Detroit is basically trash. If you
Facts.
don't know that, do not come to Michigan. Do not go to Michigan and go to a Coney Island think you're gonna get some smacking ass shit in Kent. Okay, let that be known. Okay. Anyway. Okay. Did I already guessed a Capricorn for you, right?
Yes.
Okay. Then Aquarius.
I picked Taurus. Just the love of the food,
True.
The love of the food. but I get it from the Aquarius energy too, because it is unique, right? Specifically Detroit thing. Also, elements you wouldn't necessarily put together, yet somehow make something delicious.
Man, waffle fries with chili and cheese can't get no
Yes.
better.
All day.
All right, the DIA.
Okay, there was Taurus, I guess Capricorn. So it got to be the Aquarius for you.
It is
No?
Capricorn.
Really?
It's such a staple. It is a long-standing Detroit monument. It has so many beautiful works of art. If you're in Detroit and you've never been there, highly recommend it.
Definitely. My sister, she actually went to Renaissance High School. When she won an art contest and her art was actually featured in the DIA. So we went down and saw it. So,
that's beautiful.
Yes, huge accomplishment. Love my sister for that. But the DIA is beautiful. If it wasn't Aquarius, I would have guessed Taurus, just because, again, the opulence, like.
I kind of feel like the DIA embodies all three of those in certain ways. All right, last one for me, the Heidelberg Project.
I have to think on this one. Can I say the Capricorn for you?
You can. That is not what I picked. I picked it for Aquarius. Because it's
How am I getting the direct opposite?
crazy. Like, it's just wild. And completely unpredictable. But you know what? It's fine. You win. You always win. Everyone is a winner on the Zodiac chat line. Blame it on your big three. So you have continued that tradition. No, that's awesome. And for the non-Detroit people, I'm sorry, come visit Detroit and see some of this shit. It's pretty cool. Detroit has a lot of neat stuff, worth a visit. Don't come in the winter.
Oh my goodness. Oh,
don't do that.
I feel like this goes into, I'm sorry, complete tangent, but real life Michigan in the winter could be a vibe. It could be a vibe. Not necessarily downtown Detroit, but
right.
If you venture out just a smidge past the suburbs, because the suburbs, whole different beast if you really know Michigan. But the ski slopes, a nice little cocoa in the lodges, I don't know. Oh, and then that one year that the lake had completely frozen over, and like you could walk into the caves with like the dripping columns of ice and stuff.
Right.
There's some stuff in Michigan that you just like, Never would have thought this would have been possible.
Right.
But I'm going
I didn't know
today.
this could freeze. Yeah, but
Exactly.
it can here in Michigan. You're right though. The stillness, the quiet, the like the thing, because there's a lot of open sky in Michigan, and in the winter, if everything's covered in snow, then everything just looks like blinding white, even the sky. It is kind of a mood. You know, you have to be prepared for it, but it's worth an experience also.
Don't ever buy the, you know, get some actual snow
Facts.
boots.
Ayanda, do you have anything you want to promote? Any, you know, last words you want to give the viewers? Any, you know, advice, more life advice than you've already given us, which is an excellent amount, by the way.
Well, thank you. The only advice I'd give is for the people that doubt astrology, it can tell you a lot about yourself, a lot about how you need to be moving and not what you want to be doing. And 3, really awaken you to some of the stuff that is triggering in your life. Okay, that goes from the Gen Z to the Gen X to the boomers. Okay, a lot of y'all some triggered ass motherfuckers, but you got to figure out what's triggering you and if that's beneficial to your life. Because if it ain't benefiting your life, throw it away. Throw it away. Who's the lady that wrote that book? If it doesn't bring you joy, toss it out.
Marie Kondo.
Yes. Follow
Like
that nice lady's advice.
that is a perfect advice for eclipse season, like she said. Either throw it away or it'll get taken from you. So
Okay. Oh my gosh, in the universe, you don't even think they finna take something away, and the next thing you know, it's gone.
Shit. They take everything and then some, and then you be like, what I got left, player?
Man, I ain't got $2 to rub together. God damn it.
I'm trying to make $1 out of 15. Ayanda, thank you. You are
Thank you for
amazing.
having me,
We are
ladies.
so
So
excited.
much fun.
Y'all
So
have
much
a
fun.
great day. Thank you.
You
for
too.
having me.
You have a wonderful day. We will talk to you soon, girl.
Yes.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Yes. Take it easy on this eclipse. Be safe. Don't let the crazies bring you down. Oh, what a treat, you guys. These youths, they're doing all right. They're doing all right. They are doing better than we were. All right. Are we diving straight into the card?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, sure.
Okay. All right, guys, because today I love it. We're gonna do our Eternal Crystals Oracle deck. Pull one of these for you. Man, she was a joy. She was just an absolute joy. And I'm so
Yes.
grateful that she found us.
Yes.
All right. Looks like we have Preunite, Release, Declutter, Heart Chakra. Okay, give me one moment to adjust my life so you guys can see the card there.
Ooh. Yes. Okay. Always good to get a message about release on a full moon.
And it's also number 33, a good old master number. All right. It is time for you to release any stress from your physical and emotional body and your home environment. Try to clear out any clutter from both your home and your mind. It is important that you release and let go of anything that you no longer need. Preunite has been sent to you today to help you move forward in your life by releasing anything that is holding you back. Preunite is also a well-known feng shui crystal. It can assist the decluttering process. It helps you become more organized and assists you to seeing things from the most beneficial perspective. When Preunite shows up for you, it's important to heed its message. Are there any items, objects, clothing, or furniture you no longer need? Consider donating these items to charity or passing them on to a friend or family member. Do you have an emotional attachment to any objects from the past or from someone who didn't treat you well? Remember, each object holds a vibration and energy. It could be a time to do away with objects which hold negative memories or thoughts for you. Declutter and make way for new energy to come into your life. That was a beautiful.
Yes.
Sorry, guys. Beautiful one for this full moon. Cassie, let the people know where they can find us.
You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on TikTok. We are at Zodiac Chatline on both of those platforms. You find us here on YouTube. You already did find us. While you're here, go ahead, like, subscribe, share, follow us on the social channels. If you are interested in being a guest on the show, having your chart read, you can email us at thezodiacchatline@gmail.com. And, otherwise, find us in your hearts all year round, just like Jesus.
Hallelujah, holla back. Will she do it? All right, y'all. Have a great week.
Stay
Enjoy
safe,
your
blessed.
moon.
Vote.
It's all love as always. And we out here.